Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider dropping likes, and if you do consider subscribing to the channel, as always, the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Anthony Martial, and there's also lots of other things to talk about. So now, recent reports have been coming out saying that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has made his decision on Anthony Martial's future, and reportedly now Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has decided to keep Anthony Martial at Manchester United, because there has been news circulating around the media this week saying that obviously Anthony Martial has infuriated Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has lost his patience with Anthony Martial, and it did say Solskjaer is ready to sell Anthony Martial this summer, and it did say he will listen to offers, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is reflecting on Anthony Martial's bad attitude in training. Obviously he has been in a really bad form, at least in the last couple of months as Anthony Martial, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has now decided to keep him at the club for at least another year. So Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has given him at least a year, to prove himself, Anthony Martial. And as I did say, we need to keep Anthony Martial. He's only 23 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. I do know he's been in bad form in the last couple of months. Reflecting back early on in the season, Martial was in really good form. He was scoring goals, he was providing, and I know in the last couple of months he has failed to replicate that. And Manchester United, of course, give him a new 5-year contract back in January worth around £175,000 a week, and he hasn't graduated to that level yet as Anthony Martial. As I did say, he's still in the process of developing. Same with Rashford, he's still in the process of developing, but we do know what Martial can be capable of on that left hand side, because he has proven it in his 4 years with Manchester United. When Manchester United got him back in 2015 as a 19-year-old, Manchester United got him in a deal worth around £36 million for Monaco, rising up to 57 or £58 million, based on goals and achievements. Looking back in his first season, Anthony Martial was absolutely fantastic indeed. So for me, is an important player for Manchester United. He hasn't played in the last couple of games. He wasn't even named in the squad against Huddersfield. He didn't play against Chelsea. Maybe in contention to play against Cardiff at the weekend, Anthony Martial. But yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has made his decision, and he is willing to keep Anthony Martial at Manchester United. But last year, Anthony Martial was linked with a move away from Manchester United, because actually when Jose Mourinho was in charge, Jose Mourinho wanted to sanction Anthony Martial off, but of course this didn't materialise, because obviously Ed Woodward had currently blocked the move. So yeah, that's really good news. So he won't be added onto the list as other potential players that could be leaving Manchester United this summer, because as I did say, we are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear, and I think up to at least 5 or 6 players could be leaving Manchester United this summer. We're looking to get at least 5 new additions into the club. We're going to get a spending spree of around £250 million. But as I did say, it's looking likely Pogba's going. It's looking likely, maybe Lukaku's going. So we could get £200 million plus there. So that's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition. So yeah, I think up to at least 5 or 6 players, could be going. And we do know that we need a structural change at the club, and that's obviously, getting a director of footballing. Obviously, we've got to get a director of footballing, before the start of next season, because as you all do know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. But it would be ideal, to recommend recommend someone in, who knows about the club, someone who's had the experience. So yeah, there has been quite a few candidate names mentioned. But yeah, Solskjaer's looking to bring at least 5 new additions into the club this summer. But he's identified the positions where he thinks Manchester United need to strengthen up. We need a right back, we need a central defender, we need 3 new additions in that midfield. We need a right winger, we need also a striker. So yeah, you can see the positions where Manchester United need to strengthen up, and you can see the deficiencies in the squad, and you can see the areas where Manchester United are lacking. As I did say, Solskjaer has expressed an interest in quite a few young players. I think we need to add more experience in the team. Well, I think we need to get an experienced central defender. That is very essential indeed. And I know we've been in a bad vein of form. We've only won 2 We've only won 2 of our last 11 games in all competitions, so we have been in a bad vein of form. But I know it's all gone wrong since he's got the job permanently, because reflecting back when he's the interim manager, everything was going really well. Even won his first 8 games, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and the performances were good, the results were really good, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer exceeded them expectation levels, and them expectation levels were met. But now he's got the job permanently, it's just seemed to have all gone wrong, and obviously it's a 3-year deal, and in his 3-year period he has to meet expectation levels, does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But as I did say, you know, I'm still backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I still believe he's the right man for Manchester United. You know, we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy is very, very poor. But we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window, and we basically, you know, have to rebuild, and that is very, very essential indeed. That is very, very essential indeed. But as I was saying, I know there's some Manchester United fans demanding Ole out. In my opinion, they are a total disgrace, because we've got to give him the summer. We've got to give him the summer to rebuild. None of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's, as you all know. I do know a lot of money's been spent at the club, you know, since Alex Ferguson retired. You know, we've been playing catch up, as I said, for the last 5 or 6 years. You know, we've had different managers, you know, with different philosophies, and about £700 million has been invested into the club. But none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So in that aspect, he's still in the process of rebuilding. I know he watched some of this team at this day and age, you know, grow and develop in the reserve team, did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. I know he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree, not to the highest level, you know, hasn't really got the experience of a manager, but I still believe he can take this club forward, because we can't keep sacking managers, as I said, you know, we haven't got the structure, you know, to keep sacking managers, and yeah, so we should win at the weekend against Cardiff. That preview probably will be coming up later on today, or it will be tomorrow. It's a meaningless game anyway, as we all know, because top 4 is gone, so I would draw the problematic players, you know, give the youngsters the opportunity. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, most recently, he's starting to get his tactics on, and his team selections are on, so they are very, very questionable indeed. But some of the blame is Solskjaer, you know, majority of the blame is the players, you know, some of the blame, of course, stems from Ed Woodward, and a lot of Manchester United fans want Ed Woodward out of the club, because he's the main factor of the problem. But yeah, we'll see what happens indeed. But yeah, as I said, we've got to be ruthless in this summer transfer window, and that's what we've got to do. And we've got to get our number 1 targets. We do know it's going to be difficult to get the players we want, because obviously, you know, we're not in Champions League football for next season. But I like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's confidence. You know, he still believes we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football for next season. So yeah, going on, so Martial now is going to stay at Manchester United, which is very, very good news. And Paul Pogba, I think Paul Pogba is determined to leave the club, and he wants to join Real Madrid this summer. And for me, you know, some Manchester United fans will be glad Paul Pogba's leaving. You know, some Manchester United fans, you know, won't be. You know, some Manchester United fans will be glad he's leaving. You know, some won't be glad, you know, that Paul Pogba is leaving the club, because Paul Pogba, you know, is one of the best midfielders in the world. You know, without a shadow of that, he's one of the best midfielders in the world, you know, especially when he's playing in the right vein and manner. And he was very, very good in the first 3 months under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Paul Pogba was very, very good. He was one of our most influential players. You know, he was scoring goals, he was providing, and I don't think he did too bad against Huddersfield and Chelsea. But prior to them games, in his last 6 or 7, you know, his performances have been way below par. So that just indicates that he doesn't want to be at the club. Paul Pogba. I'd like Paul Pogba to stay, because I think he's a really, really good midfielder. But I think, as I did say along the video, and I've said to you before, I think if we can get rid of him, we can get around 120 or 130 million pounds for him at least. It'll help us with our transition, and if we can get at least 130 million pounds for him, we're getting a 250 million pound spending spree. That's about 380 million pounds there for the summer. Plus, if we cash in for Lukaku, that's over 400 odd million pounds there. So it will help us in our rebuilding process. But Paul Pogba, as I said, has been heavily linked to over move to Real Madrid, and I think he wants to go to Real Madrid. He's obviously made it clear, you know, he made it clear to Manchester United teammates a few weeks back that he's intending on leaving the club this summer. Maybe a player of Paul Pogba's calibre, you know, wants to be playing to the highest level, you know, wants to be up there challenging and stuff, and you know, wants to be winning trophies. And Manchester United are at least a couple of years off doing that. You know, Paul Pogba's still got over 2 years left on his contract at Manchester United, with an option of a further year. And there were reports coming out the other week saying that Man United were willing to offer him the captain's armband, you know, to convince him to stay at the club. And that's another thing we've got to sort out as well for next season, who's going to be the current captain. I don't think it's going to be Paul Pogba because he's leaving. But Paul Pogba's now been at Manchester United over 3 years. You know, Manchester United, of course, paid £89 million for him from Juventus. Obviously, our most expensive signing. Obviously, Paul Pogba was heavily linked to a move away from Old Trafford last year, you know, based on Paul Pogba's bad relationship with Jose Mourinho. You know, he was linked to his former club, Juventus. He was linked with a move to Barcelona, was Paul Pogba. But, you know, Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid, you know, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, about his dream to play for them and all that. So that just indicates that he's intending on going there, and it indicates that he's not intending on spending the rest of his playing career in England with Manchester United. And we do know Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of Paul Pogba. Obviously, it's one of Zinedine Zidane's main targets for this summer. Well, Zinedine Zidane's got quite a few targets on his agenda, but his two main priority targets, of course, are Paul Pogba and Chelsea's Eden Hazard. But yeah, Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer of Paul Pogba. And, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has built a great relationship up with Paul Pogba, because obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, knows Pogba very, very well. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, when he managed the Manchester United reserve team, he watched Paul Pogba grow and develop. So they have built a great, fantastic relationship up. But as I did say, some United fans will be happy about this. Some may not be happy about this. But reports are coming out the other week saying that Real Madrid were reportedly not willing to match his £290,000 a week wages. So it did say Pogba would have to take a pay cut. Now reports are circulating around the media saying that Manchester United want around £160 million for Paul Pogba. Reportedly, Real Madrid are reluctant to pay up to the £160 million for Paul Pogba, because looking at it, ultimately probably Real Madrid can't afford to pay £160 million for Paul Pogba. So it did say Manchester United were demanding Rafael Varane and Toni Kroos in exchange for Paul Pogba. So we wanted at least one of Real Madrid's players in exchange for Paul Pogba if we were willing to do any business for him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has actually spoken to Paul Pogba, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer insists that he will be at Manchester United next season. He said you can't guarantee anything, but from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference, he insists that Paul Pogba will be at Manchester United next season. I don't see him being at Manchester United next season, to be honest with you, because I think he's going to Real Madrid. It came out from the Spanish press 2 or 3 weeks ago saying that he had agreed the terms with Real Madrid. It said he'd agreed the wages. I think it said he'd agreed a 10 million a year deal, allegedly, with Real Madrid. But maybe at Manchester United he's not playing around world-class players. He's Paul Pogba. He probably wants to play around world-class players. And obviously at Real Madrid, he will get that Paul Pogba. But I think if we can get at least 120, 130 million pounds to him, we can get 2 players with that money. So yeah, and so it's looking likely, Paul Pogba's on his way out of the club. Ander Herrera, he's another player that's leaving the club as well. So obviously, we're going to need a replacement for Ander Herrera. So I think, we need 3 new additions in that midfield. And I believe that we need creativeness in that midfield. We need someone that can pose a goal threat. We need someone that can score goals from that midfield, especially. And, Bruno Fernandes would be the right candidate, to be quite honest with you. It's still saying Manchester United are in the race for Bruno Fernandes, but Manchester City are on the verge of finalising... Sorry, just reading a text message. But as I was saying, yes, so City are on the verge of finalising a deal for Bruno Fernandes, as you all know. I think it's a deal worth around £47 million. I think it's £47 million, I think, because City are willing to offload 1 or 2 of their players as part of the deal, so they can get Bruno Fernandes. But Manchester United have been heavily linked with Bruno Fernandes, and, there were reports coming out from the Portuguese press the other day saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was demanding Manchester United to sign Bruno Fernandes for around £85 million. Because Bruno Fernandes' initial release clause is around 86 million pounds. But yeah, he's 24 years of age. He scored about 30 odd goals this season for Sporting Lisbon, provided about 16 or 17 assists. I think in 16 or 17 assists in about 50 appearances for Sporting Lisbon. He's got a contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But as I did say, a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, maybe wants to be playing to the highest level, wants to be, in Champions League football, wants to be winning silverware. And, Manchester City, are on the verge of getting him. It did say it could be finalised in the next week or 2. It could be fully confirmed. But Manchester City is a much attractive option for Bruno Fernandes, because as I did say, we are at least a couple of years off graduating to Manchester City's level. But Bruno Fernandes, I really, really like him. He can score goals. He's full of goals. He's got lots of assists in him. And we would have seen him as a good replacement for Paul Pogba, because Bruno Fernandes is predominantly an attacking midfielder. Obviously, Manchester City will see him as a replacement for Fernandinho, but Fernandinho is primarily a defensive midfielder. But I know that, but City are still going to see Bruno Fernandes as a replacement for Fernandinho. But I like Bruno Fernandes. When he was younger, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, with Udinese and San Pandora. So he did play for them, when he was younger, Bruno Fernandes. So he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy. But he's been at Sporting Lisbon a couple of seasons now, and he's been absolutely fantastic indeed. But I still think Manchester United are not giving up the race for Bruno Fernandes. I think City are on the verge of completing a £47 million deal for him. City have been in negotiations with Sporting Lisbon over this. But yeah, there's been other midfielders, that Manchester United been interested. There's still a lot of talks going on about, Benfica's Joe Felix. We do know Manchester United have been scouting, Bruno Fernandes' Sporting Lisbon. We've also been scouting Joe Felix, at least in the last couple of months, reflecting on Joe Felix's impressive performances this season for Benfica. It's only his first season in the senior team with Benfica. I think his buyout clause is around £100 million. It is now reports are saying that Manchester City are also interested in luring Joe Felix away from Benfica. But I like Joe Felix, to be quite honest. Yeah, he's primarily an attacking midfielder, but he can play as a winner. He can also play as a striker. Manchester United have been heavily linked to him, so I think he'd be the right solution, if he was to come to Manchester United, Joe Felix. Very, very good player. Can score goals, can provide, which is very, very good. But yeah, Manchester United have been linked to him at least in the last couple of months. His buyout clause, as I said, is around £100 million. I don't think he's yet made his senior debut for Portugal. But yeah, as I did say, Manchester United have been linked with him. As I said, Romelu Lukaku, now reports are coming out about Romelu Lukaku saying that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is reportedly planning to have talks with Romelu Lukaku. This I should presume this will be regarding his Manchester United future, because there has been rumours going out from the media saying that Lukaku is considering quitting the club this summer, because obviously, he's enjoyed a very, very difficult second season with Manchester United, and I think if he is to leave this summer, Lukaku is intending on making the move to Italy. Romelu Lukaku. Manchester United paid £75 million for Lukaku, plus £15 million in add-ons, which had risen the deal to £90 million. He's still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £250,000 a week. Is Romelu Lukaku. Lukaku obviously is injured at the moment with a hamstring injury, and he has sustained quite a few injuries this season as Romelu Lukaku. But as I did say, it'd be beneficial if we could cash in for him. We'll look to try and recoup the initial £75 million we paid for him. But for me, Lukaku, he hasn't got the capabilities, to play to the highest level. Don't get me wrong, his goal scoring form's very, very good. He's got a really, really good pedigree in the Premier League. But as I did say, he's too slow. I've got strong reservations about him. He hasn't got that finishing assets as Lukaku. So I think it would be beneficial, if we got rid of him this summer. But yeah, he's attracting interest from the likes of Juventus and Inter Milan. Is Romelu Lukaku. And I think AC Milan have been interested. But I think from Lukaku's perspective, his preferred destination, would be Juventus. But as I did say, his agent actually revealed quite a few weeks back, saying that Lukaku's future is very, very open. But yeah, I think he's going to be going in the summer possibly. And obviously, I think we need a striker anywhere, because as I said, the likes of Rashford and Martial and that haven't graduated to that level yet, and yeah, they're not reliable enough or consistent enough as yet, to deliver us them goals that we do need. So yeah, if Lukaku leaves, obviously, we're going to need a replacement for him. And yeah, so he admitted about his dream, of playing in the Serie A and all that. He was talking a lot about quite a few weeks back. But as I did say, who could replace Romelu Lukaku? And as you all do know, there was a lot of talks about Juventus' Paulo Dybala coming out in the media a couple of days ago, saying that Manchester United have been in talks with Juventus over the possible move of Paulo Dybala. I think the reported fee was around £85 million. Paulo Dybala has been linked to Manchester United. He's been linked to Manchester United in the past. I don't know if it'd be the right solution for Manchester United. He's been at Juventus a number of years. He's 25 years of age, so he's actually the same age as Lukaku, and he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But he's enjoyed a difficult season this season as Paulo Dybala, because obviously since the arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo last summer at Juventus, Paulo Dybala has been in and out of the squad this season with Juventus. Reports did say that Paulo Dybala was in London a couple of days ago. That's what it did say in the media. So we could actually see him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. If Dybala was to come in and Lukaku was to leave the club this summer. But we need that firepower up front. We need someone that can score goals and stuff. We need someone that can finish, because as I did say, Manchester United are lacking goals. We're not being ruthless enough in front of goal. We're not being clinical enough, not creative enough in the final third of the pitch. So we need a striker that can score goals, and a striker that's consistent and stuff. And do you think Paulo Dybala, would be the right solution? I don't know. Maybe some United fans would say yeah. Maybe some Manchester United fans would say no. But yeah, we've got to get a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, of course, if he leaves the club. Marcus Rashford now. Marcus Rashford's performances have been way below par in the last couple of months. As I said, he's still in the process of developing. Of course, Manchester United have not yet come to an agreement to get him a new contract. I have criticised Rashford, based on his poor run of performances, because his performances have been poor in the last couple of months. I wouldn't intend on selling Marcus Rashford because he's only 21 years of age. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. I know he's been attracting interest from the likes of Real Madrid and Juventus. Not Juventus, Real Madrid and Barcelona. As Marcus Rashford. And it did say they're willing to pay up to £100 million for him. But as I said, Marcus Rashford's performances in the last couple of months have been very, very poor. And don't forget, he has sustained quite a few injuries as Marcus Rashford. I think it's taken its toll on him. It's had a bad effect on his game, because we know what Marcus Rashford can be capable of. We know what he can capable of. He can, when he's playing to his potential best, he can get his lightning. He can get them runs in behind. He can score goals. And at least in the last couple of months, Marcus Rashford hasn't been doing that. And he knows what it's all about. He's been in United players since the age of 7. The age of 7, age of 8, reason up the fact youth system fantastically well, being in the senior squad with Manchester United, since 2016. So yeah, as I did say, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. But definitely, there's areas of his game that he does need to adapt to Marcus Rashford without a shadow of a doubt, and that same goes with Anthony Martial. And Jesse Lingard's performances have been really, below par in the last couple of months. And Jesse Lingard's obviously more experienced than Martial and Rashford, because obviously Jesse Lingard is 27 years of age. Again, Jesse Lingard knows what it's all about, raising up the youth system with the club and all that. Did Jesse Lingard, and we do know what he can be capable of on that right hand side, Jesse Lingard. But Jesse Lingard's performances, at least in the last couple of months, have been way below par. Obviously, Lingard hasn't played in the last couple of games, but yeah, his performances have been very, very poor. And as I did say, one player that needs to go in this summer, and of course, as you all know, that's Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez, definitely needs to leave Manchester United. And as I did say, reflecting back 15, 16 months ago, when we did get Sanchez, I thought he'd have been a fundamental player for Manchester United, and I think, he would have been very, very consistent, looking back what he did at Arsenal in his years there with Arsenal. Obviously, when he was a lot younger, he even played under Pep Guardiola, did Alexis Sanchez, but I just can't believe how inconsistent he's been as a Manchester United player, since we got him. We obviously got him as part of a swap deal, with Mkhitaryan, and I can't believe it, to be quite honest with you, how inconsistent he's been. Obviously, we know mainly Alexis Sanchez hasn't been the first choice, but when he's played, he just looks so restricted, just looks as though he hasn't been getting the freedom, lacks goals, and I think basically Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has lost faith in him, and I think his wages are having a bad effect on the club. It's totally affecting our wage structure in a bad way. So I think Man United, reports coming out the other day saying that Man United are willing to pay half of Sanchez's wages off, to sanction him off this summer, because there won't be many teams out there that can afford to pay Alexis Sanchez's wages off. But as I did say, yeah, disgraceful, what wages currently Sanchez is getting. I think he's on about £400,000 a week. But he's sustained as well quite a few injuries with Manchester United. He just recently recovered from an injury. Now I think he's sustained an ankle injury, and that's not good enough, for a player that's the highest paid player at the club and the highest paid player in the Premier League. And I thought it'd have been good for us, when he came in, Sanchez. Obviously we had number 7 vacant before he came in. We had it vacant for quite a while, and we were thinking who we're going to fulfill it. I thought, yeah, we've got Sanchez. He's the right solution. And since he's been here now 15, 16 months, and he's done absolutely nothing. So yeah. We get Sanchez, getting recommended to come into the club. But let's be honest, he's no longer playing to the highest level. He is age 30. He has lost that yard of pace. When we do play him, which is not very often, we do put him on that left-hand side. I think when he was at Arsenal, the majority, I know he's versatile, Sanchez, but when he was at Arsenal, the majority of his goals came up front, not from the left-hand side. But yeah, maybe we should try and play him in another position. Maybe we may get some consistency out of him then. But, he's no longer playing to the highest level now. And yeah, I think we need to get rid of him in the summer. Another player that's on his way out, I think Juan Mata is definitely on his way out of the club, Juan Mata. To be fair to Juan Mata, as I said, I'd love him to stay at least for another year at Manchester United, because I do really, really like him. I know he isn't even first choice anymore, Juan Mata, so you can really classify him as a squad player. But I know that Juan Mata has been playing in the last couple of games for Manchester United, and he has fulfilled that number 10 role fantastically well. I think Juan Mata, from his own preference, he's going to probably make the move to Barcelona on a free transfer this summer when his contract comes to an end, because I think he's intending on, you know, going to Barcelona. He's intending on making a return back to Spain, because he's Spanish himself. Obviously had a lot of experience playing in Spain when he was younger, you know, with Real Madrid and Valencia, you know, Juan Mata. But he's been fantastic serving in the Premier League. You know, this is Juan Mata's 5th season at Manchester United. You know, he has made over 200 appearances in all competitions. You know, I think he scored about 50 odd goals Juan Mata. You know, he obviously, you know, when he was a lot younger, he had a good 2.5-3 years with Chelsea. Did Juan Mata. So yeah, he's been a fantastic servant in the Premier League. Of course, he's won everything. He's won everything in the Premier League as Juan Mata, apart from the Premier League, and that's the only thing he hasn't won. He's won everything else domestically, but he just hasn't won the Premier League. You know, he won the Champions League with Chelsea. You know, when I think he won the Champions League with Chelsea when he was younger. You know, Juan Mata. He won the Champions League with Chelsea when he was younger. And yeah, so I think he's going to make the move to Barcelona. You know, reports were coming out saying that Juan Mata is close to agreeing a 2-year deal with Barcelona. But obviously, you know, Barcelona are not going to see him as a replacement for Lionel Messi. Obviously, when he goes to Barcelona, of course, obviously he's going to be used there as a squad player, because obviously he's a squad player now at Manchester United. I think Man United are willing to offer him a 1-year extension. Well, willing to offer him a 1-year extension. Whether this comes to an agreement or not, I do not know. But he is 31 years of age now. He has lost that yard of pace, and he's no longer playing at the highest level. I think Man United paid just under £40 million for him from Chelsea, you know, back in 2014. We actually, you know, got him under the David Moyes era, so I can see him going. As I did say, you know, one player that's guaranteed to leave in the summer, and of course that's Antonio Valencia. Maybe we should give him a farewell appearance, you know, against Cardiff. That's if he's fit enough. It did say now he's back in training, because obviously, you know, Valencia has been out with a calf injury. Valencia's been out for the majority of the season, you know, through injury. Obviously, you know, he's been a good servant here. You know, this is now his 10th season at Manchester United. You know, he's made over 300 odd appearances in all competitions for the club, as Antonio Valencia. And I think he's won everything here domestically. You know, he won the Samat Busby Player of the Year award, you know, back in 2012. As initially now lost his place in the team as Antonio Valencia. But as I did say, you know, he's been a good servant to the club. He's going to go in this summer, of course, when his contract expires. Man United had the option to trigger an extension, so if we had triggered that extension, he wouldn't have left this summer. But we didn't trigger that extension, so we are losing him on a free this summer. We opted against that decision. But yeah, maybe we should give Antonio Valencia a farewell appearance. That's if he is fit enough, which I do presume that he should be, because Antonio Valencia has been back in training now for quite a bit now, to be fair. But I did say we're going to need a replacement for Antonio Valencia at that right back position. We do need an upgrade to Ashley Young, because I said Ashley Young's so inconsistent now. You know, Ashley Young's 33 years of age now is Ashley Young. You know, he's been a long-serving player. You know, he's been here about 7-8 years. Ashley Young's nearly 34 years of age now, and you know, now you just see now he's too easily predictable. He gets exploited far too easily, he loses the ball far too easily, and he's a very, very inconsistent player. And this is why I don't understand why Ole Gunnar Solsjaker keeps selecting him. And definitely Young needs to be dropped for the Cardiff game. Young shouldn't have even been playing him against Huddersfield, but he needs to be dropped against the Cardiff game, and we need to put Diego Dalot into contention without a shadow of a doubt. But it was bad business. It was bad business for Manchester United, you know, giving Young that new 1-year extension. It was bad business. It was bad business indeed, Manchester United giving Ashley Young that new 1-year contract term extension, because by the time that new 1-year extension expires, Ashley Young's going to be nearly 35 years of age anyway, so that will that his playing career then will be coming to a conclusion. But yeah, as I said, we need a replacement for Valencia at right back. You know, we need an upgrade to Ashley Young, and that is very, very essential. I know we've got Diego Dalot, but you know, we need a cover up for Diego Dalot. I think, you know, we need to get. I think, you know, for the Cardiff game, in my opinion, you know, Jones needs to be dropped, put Smalling into contention. I think Jones needs to leave the club in the summer. I said Smalling needs to leave. I'm not too sure, you know, maybe give him another season, I don't know, but I'd say still let Smalling go, to be honest with you. But definitely, you know, comparing, you know, Jones and Smalling, you know, Smalling is definitely better. But as I did say, you know, Jones has been here 8 years, you know, Chris Smalling has been here 9 years. Again, they've been two long-serving players at the club. This, as I said, you know, again, it was bad business for Manchester United, you know, giving Smalling a new long-term contract, you know, giving Phil Phil Jones a new long-term contract. And as I said, we need a world-class central defender, you know, someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. And yeah, so we need a world-class central defender, you know, because we haven't had one since we had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand, of course. So yeah, we definitely need one. I think Eric Bailly, I think he needs to go, in my opinion. You know, he's too injury prone. I know he can be, I still highly rate him. I think he's got great potential, Eric Bailly, but he's too injury prone. Obviously, he's lost he's initially lost his place in the team. Doesn't even really get the opportunity now, so I think Bailly needs to go. I also think definitely, you know, Damien's on his way out of the club, because Damien's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United and hasn't really had the chance. Just recently recovered from long-term absence, and I think we could, yeah, we can cash in for Damien. You know, we could possibly, you know, cash in for Rojo, so we could cash in around £30 million for Rojo and Matteo Darmian, because Rojo's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United. But as I was saying, so yeah, the central defenders, you know, that Manchester United have been linked with. So as it did come out in the press, well, it came out a couple of days ago, saying that Ole Gunnar Solsjaker had been told by Ed Woodward to get a centre back, you know, that will break the world transfer record, you know, for a centre back. And there's been quite a few central defenders on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's agenda and Manchester United's agenda, because obviously our priority last summer was to recommend a centre back to come in, but obviously we didn't get one in, because obviously the board weren't backing Jose Mourinho's signings we wanted to get in. And yeah, so there's been quite a few central defenders named. Obviously, you know, yesterday in the media, you know, there was talks about, you know, Leicester City's Harry Maguire. I don't think, you know, Manchester, the club are intending on, you know, breaking the world transfer record for Harry Maguire. Even though he's previously been valued at around 80 million pounds as Harry Maguire, you know, based on his impressive performances this season for Leicester. Obviously now he's made 100 appearances in the Premier League. He made his 100th appearance on Monday night against Manchester City. But Harry Maguire's a very, very good defender. He's 26 years of age, so he's still in his prime. You know, he's still got a lot of years ahead of him. Well Premier League proven, experienced central defender is Harry Maguire. I think he's tall as well. He's about 6'3", 6'4", so that's very, very beneficial. And Manchester United were linked with Harry Maguire last summer, but obviously, you know, we didn't come to an agreement to get him last summer, because obviously he signed a new contract with Leicester last summer, a new long-term contract, and now I think it was a 5-year contract, as I said, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023, is Harry Maguire. But yeah, there has been talks about him going on. I think Leicester paid a fee of around £17 million for him from Hull City. Obviously, he was at Hull City, you know, when he was younger, you know, Harry Maguire. Obviously, you know, he began his career with Sheffield United as a youngster, you know, reason up their youth system and all that with Sheffield United. I think he played about 166 games for Sheffield United, you know, did Harry Maguire. But yeah, Manchester United have showed an interest in him. Obviously, the most expensive defender, I think, at the moment, of course, is, you know, Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who Liverpool, of course, paid £75 million for from, you know, Southampton back in January of last year. And he's been at Liverpool 15, 16 months now, and he's addressed their defensive deficiencies, you know, fantastically well as Virgil van Dijk. But yeah, Harry Maguire's been on Manchester United's agenda. Did say Man United, you know, could renew, we could renew our interest there in Harry Maguire. As I said, you know, there's been talks, you know, about Raphael Varane. I don't think we can break the world transfer record, you know, for Raphael Varane, because obviously I think, as I said, the only chance I think we'd have of getting Raphael Varane, you know, would be as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. But don't get me wrong, I really, really like Raphael Varane. Koulibaly, you know, obviously I said it's going to be hard for us to get a player of Koulibaly's, you know, calibre. It's going to be hard for us to get a player of Koulibaly's calibre, because obviously, you know, we're not in Champions League football for next season. Obviously, you know, we'd have to pay a world record fee for Koulibaly. You know, if he was for sale this summer, we'd have to pay him a world record fee. And don't get me wrong, we have got the financial power, you know, to meet his valuation. You know, we're a rich club, you know, but I think he's going to cost you around at least 100 million or 110 million. You know, you'd get quite a few Manchester United fans, you know, saying that Koulibaly, you know, would be a waste of money, because maybe some people are saying, you know, we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because these are quite a few, you know, there's quite a few players out there for a reasonable figure, as you all know. Maybe we could get you know, 2 or 3 players for £100 million, or maybe just more. And yeah, but obviously they won't be as good. But you know, you could still get 2 or 3 for maybe over £100 million. But talking about, yeah, Koulibaly, you know, I really, really like him. He's 27, nearly 28 years of age. He'd address our defensive deficiencies, you know, fantastically well. And Manchester United, of course, have been long admirers of Koulibaly. But yeah, I do really, really like him, as you all know. And I think he's been in Italy a number of years now. I think this is now his 5th season, going into his 6th season with Napoli. He's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions for Napoli. But I've analysed his performances in Italy, and they've been very, very impressive indeed. And I think, you know, he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next couple of years, get us to that level, you know, where we want to be. And yeah, very, very good defender. Toby Alderweireld, I still believe, you know, Alderweireld, you know, would be a good upgrade in our defence. You know, he's a much cheaper alternative. You know, if you look at it to the likes of the Koulibaly's and the Rafael Varane's and all that, he's a much cheaper and alternative. Is Toby Alderweireld. Don't get me wrong, I've got reservations about him now. He's 30 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace, but again, highly experienced, well Premier League proven. Toby Alderweireld. So yeah, Manchester United, you know, could still get him in the summer. So yeah, we've been linked with a number of central defenders. But as I did say, yeah, so the most central finish, you know, we've got to get new additions in that midfield, as I said. You know, there has been quite a few names who we could get in that midfield. You know, there's been talks of, you know, West Ham's Declan Rice who could come in. Sol Niguez, of course, has been mentioned in the past. So, yeah, there's been quite a few midfielders mentioned, as I said. But as going back to what I said, you know, near the beginning of the video, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, he's still in the process of rebuilding. None of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, he's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still a number of players here from the Van Gaal era. There's still Matter here from the David Moyes era. Well, initially, Fellaini was here from the David Moyes era, but obviously he left in January. And obviously, you know, there's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era. So none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. Don't get me wrong. There's lots to do in the summer. There's a hell of a lot to do in the summer. Don't get me wrong about that. And then if it goes on in a new season, that's when I'll start criticising Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and that's when I will start doing it. And he has got the experience of a player, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't get me wrong, because he was a fantastic player and he knows about the club and all that, but he hasn't really got it as a manager. But, you know, let's see what happens in the summer, and then let's see what happens, you know, going on into next season. But the main part of this video is to give you an update on Anthony Martial. Solskjaer now is deciding to keep him after reports have been coming out most recently saying that he's ready to sell him because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has obviously become frustrated with Anthony Martial's attitude in training, bad attitude in training, but now he's deciding to keep him. So I think Solskjaer's willing to give Martial at least a year, you know, to prove himself, of course. So that is very, very good news indeed. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscriber to the channel, as always, and take care. God bless, guys, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.